Hello there, Skeleton Crew had its final episode today. Let's talk about it, The Real Good Guys. Overall, what a fun show. I've said it before, this was pretty low on my list of anticipated projects when it was announced a couple of years ago. It was just above Obi-Wan Kenobi on the bottom of the list. Now that I've seen it all, very, very happy with how this turned out. I think it has a few issues here and there with its pacing, episode length, but I think overall it was pretty damn solid throughout. So the final episode, we've got Jod taking over AT-ATN with the pirates. AT-ATN is, of course, a Republic mint that has been cut off from the rest of the galaxy. The supervisor, revealed to be just a giant brain of a droid that has been running things, which I and most other people did guess from the start. It's nice to get a prediction right, even though it was a kind of obvious one, but still I'm taking that as a win. Now there was a lot to love in this last episode. I think my personal favourite part of it was the speeder bike, hoverbike sequence. This felt like a great homage to the end of E.T. when all the kids are riding around on their bikes, but just sort of cranked up to 11 a little bit. It was nice to get payoffs with characters like Neil learning where the turbo laser was on AT-ATN because of Haina on her planet, KB being able to contact Kim again so that then she could call the New Republic, Wim finally being able to stand up to and confront Jod and holding the lightsaber the correct way this time, and Fern and her mother finally getting on the same page. I really felt like all the kids had a nice little part to play in the finale. Now we did finally get some backstory for Jod Narwood as well. First off, I am glad that there was no big redemption or change of heart for Jod. They did give us enough to just sort of see where he was kind of coming from. Now, he was never a full-blown Jedi, it seems. I would say that Jod would be one of the Boken Jedi, one that was trained out in the wild for a short amount of time before his master was killed. The way he spoke, I don't believe that he was ever at the Jedi Temple. I don't believe he was approached during the Jedi actually operating as normal. I think that he was found once this master was already on the run after Order 66, trained him for a little bit, and was then hunted down and killed either by Purge troopers, the Inquisitors, whoever. I think this explains why his Force abilities are so kind of weak. They are incredibly unrefined, and he seems to have been suppressing them a little bit. Now, I didn't love that they did draw back just a little bit on Jod's maliciousness in this episode. I feel like in previous episodes it was like, no, he means business. He is going to, kill anyone, cut anyone down in his way. And I feel like they pulled back on that in this episode where he's like, I never wanted to hurt anyone, so I do think they tried to give us just that little, pinprick of light, to paraphrase in him. I'm just glad that there was no massive change of heart. He didn't have that last minute turn where he's like, no, the pirates are wrong. I'm going to help save the kids. I'm going to help save AT-ATN. I'm glad we didn't get any of that stuff in here. He was still a bit of a scumbag, so I very much appreciated that. I will say, though, I think I needed a little bit more of him just towards the end of the show. He watches the pirate ship go down, and then that's kind of the last we see of him. I just needed a little bit more, to be honest, to find out exactly what's going to really happen. Is he going to be scooped up by the New Republic? Is he going to slip away in all of the chaos? I just could have used a little bit more there to just sort of solidify an ending. I just, tiny bit more, just one more scene to just give us a definitive answer of what's happening. Is he going to prison? Did he slip away? What's the go? It seems like he's content with just sort of giving up in that moment, but I would have just liked something a little bit more. I was also a little bit disappointed that there was seemingly no real payoff of any sort as to the identity of Tak Raned. I felt like the show was deliberately keeping this character hidden from our eyes. And I thought it might have been setting up some sort of reveal here. But looks like I was completely wrong. And I am one of the first people in the world to say, you shouldn't get disappointed when your own expectations that you've set yourself aren't met, especially when you make a big deal out of something that the show or the movie might not be making a big deal out of. But I'll just say, I thought Tak Raned was going to have some sort of part to play. Like, not that whether he was alive or not, but I thought there would be something more with that character in the end here. So I personally was a little bit disappointed with that thread sort of left dangling, but not really that disappointed either, because maybe I just read it wrong, if you get what I mean, but I thought there would be something. My only other real complaint is just the blocking of some scenes. When Jod is wrestling with Wendell after pushing down, Wim and Fern, you get that brief moment where it's just like, why doesn't Wim just get back up and try and help again? You know, it's like you get knocked down and all the fight suddenly just goes out of you. It's just, it's a personal nitpick, that's the thing. I don't like it when this stuff sort of happens. I'm not a fan of this kind of blocking of a scene. I always think back to Jurassic Park when Alan and Ellie are blocking the door from the raptor. Lex is on the computer and they make a big deal about how Ellie can't move away from the door to get the gun because the raptor will get through otherwise. But while all that's happening, Tim is just sort of in the background stressing out doing nothing, you know? Block the scene differently. Give him something else to do. Show why he can't help in that situation. He can't, you know, grab the gun and hand it to them. You know, it was just a little thing like that where, you know, you block the scene differently, you change a few little things around, and it just makes a little bit more sense. Again, not a huge big deal, but just a personal annoyance. Overall, though, really, really fun, solid series. The kids, I think, were all great. I did not expect to enjoy these characters as much as I did, and the fact that they all had nice little character moments, not just in this episode, but throughout the entire season with their arcs, I thought was really nice. I think Jod played the perfect scumbag. I enjoyed the pirate stuff a lot. I will echo something I said last week here, and I do wish we got more from some of those pirate characters, especially like Vane, just to really give the characters a bit more of a point, and especially with Vane, to be like, oh, it's just the guy from Mando Season 3. Is his purpose just to show that this is in the same time period, it's in the same universe? And if so, that's a little bit disappointing in a way. I really enjoyed the mystery of, you know, Atten unfolding, it being an Old Republic mint, and then some of the ties with some of the phrasing of stuff, like the Great Work, all that tying back to the Old Republic, and the barrier technology, I believe, being Stormwall technology from the High Republic. Honestly, I just had a blast with this show. It was really, really fun, super solid, a lot of fun lore stuff in it, and yeah, I just enjoyed it immensely. Now, would I want a season 2 of this? I'm gonna say maybe. I have a pitch in my head for what I think a season 2 should be. I think it would be a bit of an unpopular opinion though, so I'm going to let it simmer for a bit until I have a better idea of what it could do. It's a bit out there, I think. Now, I know that viewership for this show has apparently been pretty low, so who knows if we'll even get a season 2, because I feel like they don't even look at critical reviews anymore. It's whether or not they have the numbers to justify it now, which is very disappointing, but it is what it is. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get a season 2, but I also think the way it's ended and the way it wrapped up, I wouldn't exactly be disappointed either if it didn't get a season 2, because I think it's finished quite nicely. I don't think there were any really major loose ends left dangling like we did with The Acolyte that would cause me massive amounts of disappointment, but we'll wait and see. So yeah, to wrap it up, Skeleton Crew. Really good, really solid, enjoyed it a lot, and now we can look forward to April for Andor Season 2. I can't wait for that one. Let the countdown begin. Anyway, thank you for watching and enduring my yapping about Skeleton Crew. I liked it a lot. Anyway, make sure you follow me here and over on TikTok if it hasn't been banned wherever you're watching from yet. And yeah, I love talking about Star Wars, my favorite thing to do in the world. So yeah, make sure you follow me here, and may the Force be with you always.